Bit of echo. Okay, okay. We will try to do something about the echo. I mean, some people have said this, that they, is it an echo of the room, or is it the echo because of the, you know, internet? Sometimes you hear that kind of an echo. What is it? Space. Okay, we will fix this. Then this we can do. Om. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamam Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhya Sarvopaplavarahitāh Prajnanakanah Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Padabhidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. If somebody forces himself to give up all the karma, saying that I shall not do any action at all, I will give it up. Because in the state of moksha, now this whole statement also needs to be very well understood. When we are saying that in the state of moksha there is no karma, that does not mean that the body, etc., will stop working, hands will stop moving, the legs will stop moving. That is not what is meant. What is meant is, in the state of moksha, the identity that I am the doer, I am the experiencer, I am a small little entity, that this identity gets falsified. And therefore, though there is an activity, though there is an action, yet it cannot be called as karma. You see, it is only in the presence of the ego that an action can be called as karma. Because the ego is falsified. And when the state of knowledge also becomes well rooted, well established, due to the practice of samadhi, etc., now over there, even the ego fails to raise its hood, even the falsified ego does not rise. And therefore, there is absence of karma. This absence of karma that is the characteristic of the state of liberation, and hence it is called as Naishkarmya Siddhi. What is the state of moksha called as? Naishkarmya Siddhi. Naturally, there is nothing. Neither there are any desires which would prompt any action or any karma, nor is there anything like the ego to claim the action is mine. I am the doer, I am the experiencer. Therefore, it is Naishkarmya Siddhi. Now, understanding this much part, that state of moksha is where there is absence of karma. Now, somebody wants to say, I already felt that moksha is absence of action, and therefore I will stop doing that whatever I am doing and not initiate anything that needs to be done. And therefore there will be absence of action, absence of karma. If a person thinks that by living like this, he will be able to accomplish moksha or his moksha will be accomplished, then Sri Krishna, Bhagavan, wants to wake up such a person from this fool's paradise, from such a fool's paradise. Because he says, hey, other than the enlightened one, as long as the ignorance is prevalent, uh, as long as the ignorance is prevalent, the ego will be there. And therefore, because the ego is there, the movement of the body, hands and legs, or presence of the desire, in whatever intensity it may be, is bound to be there. Is bound to be there. You cannot escape it. And therefore, action will be performed. Karma will be performed by such a person, even if he decides that I will not do anything. Him deciding that I will not do anything, that itself becomes another act, karma. You see? And it becomes a karma which is a papa karma because he is not doing what he is supposed to do. Doing something that you are not supposed to do is called as papa. So he is not doing what he is supposed to do, meaning he is doing something that he is not supposed to do. So such a person then, instead of attaining or accomplishing moksha, he will be accomplishing a life of sin. Sin means just don't think that somebody is murdering and robbing the money or something like that. No, doing something that one is not supposed to do is called, in a broader sense, as papa karma. And this is what will happen with the person. And therefore, Bhagavan Shri Krishna now tells the person, Arjuna, that Arjuna, there is nobody over here who can stay without an action, even for a moment. Because each one of us will be under the state of ignorance, will be prodded to undertake some form of action, some activity, some karma will be there. And therefore, don't you ever think that I will not do anything, and that will be the state of I will be attaining, accomplishing moksha. This kind of a thing doesn't work. And so, wake up from such a foolish idea. This is only a foolish idea born from misunderstanding what is delivered by the word Naishkarmya. No doubt, state of moksha is Naishkarmya. But now, Bhagavan Shri Krishna already has told Arjuna that it is each one's nature, Prakriti, the samskaras, the impressions, desires, everything, and the ignorance put together. This strange combination, and he is called as the Prakriti of that individual. The Prakriti of the individual and the Prakriti in general will force the person to do something. And therefore, now Shankarananji gives us an introduction to what Bhagavan Shri Krishna has to tell further. Nanu sarva karma sanyasya kara padadin indriya gramam ritva bahistushnim sthanuvat naishchalyena sthatum shakyate evati ashankayam. Now somebody says, sir, by giving up all karma, we will keep all the organs of action under a strict visual. The hand shouldn't move, the legs shouldn't move, the speech should not function. Mauna, nothing. And so, Rudva, Karapadadi, Indriya Gramam, Rudva, Bahihi, Tushnim, and then the person may sit as if appearing, because many days ago, some years ago, I think, there was this case in Nepal somewhere. They found, they used to call him the young Buddha. That man used to sit very quiet the whole day. People used to gather in thousands to see him sitting under some banyan tree or a peepal tree or some tree, not moving. Then the crowd became too much. And then they found out that at least in the night, this fellow gets up, walks, eats, and some and through the day he's sitting quiet. So like that, if somebody decides that he will force his body to stay without any movement, sthanuvat naishchalyena, like a stump of a tree, shakyate, that also is possible. Then iti eva shankayam, no sir. Now this is said, bandhamokshayoho gatim swadhikaram cha avijnaya kim karmana nishphalena kleshabhuyishtena iti durahankarena muktisadakam vaidikam karma sarvam sanyasya yastushnim tishtati sa dambhacharaka. Now he says that person actually does not know. He is living a life of deception. Generally, we think that the deception is that when we deceive somebody else, others. But truly, what is more dangerous and more harmful is that such a deception is self-deception, and that is more harmful. It is more sinful. That is what we are going to see in the next verse. But Bhagavan Shri Krishna, how is he going to tell us that? Bandhamokshayoho gatim swadhikaram avijnaya, because this person does not understand the meaning of what is bondage, what is liberation, and what is his capacity. What is his capacity? Swadhikaram cha vijnaya. Now, and then he still gives up the karma. Why has he given up his stipulated duty? Because that is too difficult for him. He feels that well, this is klesha bhuyishtena, and it is all given to us by the Shastra. Vaidikam karma mukti sadhanam. It is actually going to be helpful in your pursuit of liberation, but he has given up that karma itself, and therefore, by sitting quiet, he thinks he will be able to accomplish moksha. That is not going to be possible. Rather, he will become an expert in hypocrisy. So, dambhacharaha ityaha, and this is what is being told to us, in verse number 6. Let us read the verse and look at its meaning. Karmendriyani sanyamya, Karmendriyani sanyamya, ya aste manasa smaran, ya aste manasa smaran, indriyarthan vimudhatma, indriyarthan vimudhatma, मिथ्याचारस्य उच्यते मिथ्याचारस्य उच्यते कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य, by keeping the organs of action under a tight control, sanyamya. So now externally you are not going to find that this person is doing anything that can be categorically called as wrong. So you say, hey, you are not going to find that, well, you're doing something wrong. No. Karmendriyani sanyamya. But ya aste manasa smaran. But what happens to him inside is also equally important. Externally, people will be able to provide a certificate. Well, he was quiet. He was sitting peacefully. But inside, there is a storm raging. And therefore, externally, though this person is with his eyes closed, without making a sound from his mouth, yet internally there is a storm inside. That conflict is going on. Bhayankar, ati bhayankar. And therefore, yaste manasa smaran. So now, keeping the external organs, karmendriyas, organs of action under control, he who stays over there, thus manasa smaran, the memories of the objects will keep rising again and again, manasa smaran, because he is keeping the eyes shut. Therefore, he is not perceiving anything like the money, women, or things like that. Yet, the memory will be thrown in front of him. Now he has to face a different music. And therefore, those who want to run away from the world, the thing is, where will you run away? Wherever you go, you will be there. Sorry. Yaste manasa smaran. And indriyarthan vimudhatma. What is he then dwelling on? His mind is dwelling on the objects of this indriyas. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. Indriyarthan vimudhatma. The one who is extremely deluded. This is now the state of a person who is deluded. And what is his nature of delusion? Some idea was given to us by Shankarananda Swami over here. He said, because the person does not know what exactly is bondage, what is liberation, how that liberation has to be accomplished, and in order to accomplish that liberation, what is the individual capacity that is the capacity that individual should have, what should be his strength, all these things now this fellow does not take into consideration, but he has given up the karma which is shastriya, scripturally prescribed. And the very fact that it has been prescribed by the scriptures means it is meant for the person to refine himself. Now he has lost that opportunity. And losing that opportunity, what is he doing? Dwelling on the objects. Okay. Indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyacharasya uchyate. Such a person is called as mithyachari. Meaning the one with a deceptive behavior, conduct. Okay. Achara means conduct. Mithya means deceptive, not real. Deceptive conduct. Sauchate is called as one with a deceptive conduct, meaning a hypocrite, a deceptive person. Okay, now let us look at the meaning through the commentary. Vimudhatma. Shankarananji chooses to explain the word Vimudhatma. Vimudha. Vimudha means one who is deluded, one whose mind is under the delusion. Vishesha Rupeda. And by the word Atma over there, it means Antakaranam. Mudha means deluded. Vimudha means highly deluded. Vishesha Rupeda. And now, undoubtedly, this fellow is the Vimudhatma. So, what is he deluded about? Karya Viveka Rahita. Shankaranand makes it very clear, because this fellow does not really understand, know what is Karyam, what is Akaryam, what is that is appropriate for him to do, what is most appropriate for him to give up. Okay, Karyam, Akaryam. So Karya Viveka Rahitaha. Here there is absence of this clarity of understanding as what he should do, what he should not do. Karya Viveka Rahitaha. Atma Manuyasya Vimudhatma San Swasya Kartavyam Vaidikam Karma Mukti Sadhanam Parityajya. Now, this fellow, he gives up the kartavyam, his own duty, and duty of a person, then is told to us how to follow the dharma as a householder, etc., as a father, as a mother, as a what do they call it, as a husband, as a wife, as a no, this is all defined so that the principles of dharma are kept intact in your transaction, though you are playing these various roles. Okay? And so, Vaidikam karma, mukti sadhanam. This Vaidikam karma, how is it? In reality, in its analysis, it goes to mean that it also has a role to play in attainment of liberation. And therefore, it is mukti sadhanam, serves as the means for liberation. Now he thinks he wants liberation, but he gives up the means. Now please tell, how would he have the end if he has given up the means? Mukti sadhanam parityajya bahihi karmendriyani sanyamya. Now externally, he keeps the external organs, in the sense the karmendriyas, organs of action, under control. So you will find such people are there, and they become even harsh towards themselves. Karmendriyani sanyamya. Sanyamya means nirudhya. Nirudhya meaning they are not allowed to do their functions. Nirudhya. For example, chakshushi nimilya. Now even the eyes are also kept closed, shut. Chakshushi nimilya. Then what happens? So now it appears that he is not participating in any transactions in the external world, nor is he taking any input from the world outside. The eyes are closed. And he may put some cotton also in the ears. I hope people don't put cotton in balls in the nose, otherwise even that is also closed. Then Ramanam Satya. Nimilya. So input is not there, external transactions are not there, yet antarindriyarthan, Antaha, but inside Indriyarthan. Now this fellow dwells, the memories are projected by the Prakriti inside of the objects. Not that he is doing some Brahmachintan sitting like that. He is doing Vishaya Chintanam only. And therefore, Indriyarthan Shabdadi Smaran. Smaran means Chintayan Ya Aste. This is how he lives. Brahma Vedameva. And he carries that ego. That look here, I am an enlightened one. People don't understand. People don't know what is my real thing, you know. They will regret one day that they missed an opportunity of being and understanding somebody who was so great, and here I am. So now they have that kind of an also self-exaggerated pride. Now. Yaste Brahmavedameva karma sannyasena kritarthosmi. And therefore, because I am not doing anything like this, I have done everything that needs to be done. Hey, kritarthosmi samithyachara. This is deception. Krishna Bhagavan says this is deception. Mithyachara, asadachara. It is actually what something that is immoral. Asadachara, kapatacharitraha, a deceptive character, and atmavanchakaha. In the first case, deceptive character means is deceiving others, making others believe that he is, some whatever special avatar. Atmavanchaka, and if he himself makes himself believe that he is indeed great, then such a person is in self-deceptive mode. And it is, but who says like that? Sadbhi. This is what is said by the great teachers. Sadbhi. Etena shravanartham va anyatha va sanyasya shravanadikam akritva veshena jivanam kurvan sanyasena eva kritartho amiti yo yatihi manyate sopi mithyacharaha eva iti suchitam bhavati. Now, a person, this is what happens at times, let us have some sympathy also. There are people then who have very honest intentions in the beginning, that in this very life, let me discover God. So now this fellow has walked out from all the competitive secular activities, etc., and takes to the life of a monk with an intention. In the beginning, honestly, he feels that let me have the experience of God. So he leaves and he goes away. But eventually, he gets trapped and he forgets the very reason, the very purpose for which he had come. Then money, prestige issue, ashram, my guru, your guru, my this thing, your this thing, all these things will take a front seat, and then he will masquerade it all as his devotion or his spiritual practice and how important that is. This will all get a front seat importance. And by doing that, now he will forget that the very purpose of sannyasa or coming and becoming a monk, etc., was so that he could do Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasanam. Instead of that, he is doing everything else under the name of spirituality, but Shravan Manan Nididhyas. And so at times some people have a different, they take to the sannyasa because of a different reason, because they didn't want to stay with the parents, or he didn't want to stay with his wife because she was too demanding, he feels. She used to keep a close watch. Where did you go? Why did you come late? When are you coming? You are late by 3.5 minutes. Huh? Why? Oh, this person, this is too much. I can't. And so now he runs away. Okay? So he has a different reason why he has left home. But at least there was first one whose reason for having left home was because he wanted to experience God. The second one obviously is not fit to become a sannyasi. But the first one also did not really take a stock of his own intentions. That how long will one be able to sustain himself on this? This will be his inspiration. That's why it is difficult. And that is the reason why he said Vimud Atma, Shri Krishna says, because that person has a very clear introspection and a very clear judgment, unbiased, not self-glorification, Atma Shlagha. Because I am a devotee of God, now God is going to take care and all those things. Oh. Are you obliging God with your devotion? Are you obliging? It is like, then somebody who says that you have to do things for me because I love you. Then you are already asking for you have quoted a price for your love. You may get it, you may not get it, you may even get disappointed. But one thing that has happened is now that love is not going to be love pure love. Because it already is carrying a price tag. So over here, etena shravanatham va anyatha va sanyasya shravanadikam akritva. He does everything, but he does not do shravanam. This is one thing. That find out how much time of the day are we really able to give to Shravana Manan Nididhyasanam or meditation. Find out how much time. And then, unless and until 24 hours of your day are saturated with this, till then, or with the Vedanta Chintanam, till then, let not one hurry into taking sannyas. Sorry. Kurvan sannyasainev kritarthoham iti yo yatihi manyate. So he who lives like this, such a person, no matter even if he's a monk, so be mithyacharaha. This is nothing but a life of deception, deceiving others and deceiving oneself. Mithyacharaha eva. Furthermore, anatmajnasya mumukshoho karma sannyasa pekshaya karma yoga eva shrestha ityaha. Now, we have to understand, therefore, that the karma yoga is more valuable than karma sannyasa for the person who is still under ignorance and still under some influence of desires, etc. As long as this is the case, till then, one should not leave Karma Yoga. Hold on to the sadhana of Karma Yoga. Okay? One may be fascinated with the sannyas means, we wake up early and meditate. But then you waking up early, why don't you try doing at home? Oh, now why? Why? He's just fascinated because things like this always people have different sorts of fascinations. Somebody likes living in that ashram and a holy life because it carries an aura of holiness around it. We will live that kind of pavitra thing. How much time are you able to really do? If you're waking up early, taking Ganga bath and then doing puja and doing all these things is what you want to do as a sannyasi, how much are you able to do it even without sannyas? No, Swami, you're waking up early and all at this point. But when I take sannyas, I will. Hey, don't do this, because you will harm yourself more, and that harm will be in the way that you will make yourself more sad. Sorry, you will make yourself more sad, and therefore don't you do this, and hence hold on to your sadhana of karma yoga. Don't underestimate that your life as a householder is not giving you the spiritual push. Don't underestimate. This is the filter through which you will gain that refinement. I have told this story even before in other contexts and somewhere else. In Mahabharata, there is this very beautiful story. There's a very interesting story in Mahabharata. What happens is, there is this one sadhu, one ascetic living in the jungle. You know this, right? The tapasvi. So he's practicing his asceticism, mystical practice, whatever you may call it. He does it in the jungle. And it is only in one, from that little forest, he comes into the village for asking alms only once in a day in the noon time. And he quickly goes back into the forest without wasting much time, just for a little while, that, to collect the alms, which will sustain him for the next 24 hours. He is there. Then this fellow, one day he gets up from his seat of meditation, etc., and finds that a little bird on the tree has left a dropping chandan on the head. White spot there. So this fellow becomes angry, as it is noontime, 24 hours, he has not had food once in a day that he has. And on top of it, this fellow has left this chandan on my head. So he gets angry and he looks up. And with his, the fire in the eye and the power that he has acquired, that little bird out of that, drops dead on the ground. What happened? That means my austerities have started becoming powerful. That if I look at somebody with anger, that fellow may even die. Very nice. So then he goes into the village. After this, a little proud about his achievement, new accomplishment. He goes into the village. And the houses that he generally asks for the food, the lady of the house, generally, in the olden days, the lady of the house would bring the food for all these mendicants and all, and offer them, give them the food. Because she's the mother, you know, of the household. And so he comes home, Bhavati Chande, mother, bring me food, Viksha, alms. So this lady, she has children and the husband and the in-laws and that several things at the house. The food is there on the what stove on the fire and all these things. Somebody is crying, somebody is pulling her. She's a woman, and then she has to look after everyone. She's busy with that, whatever she's doing, feeding the children or whatever. She tells this mendicant, Baba, please wait for a few minutes. Let me finish this job that I'm doing. I'll come. There is food for you. There is food. Just please wait. So this fellow keeps on waiting and he feels a little insulted for having made him wait. And he looks at her with little rage in the eyes. She turns to him and says, I'm not a little birdie to die if you look at me with anger. He is shocked that how did this woman know? Nobody in the jungle had watched that incident. And even before I could come into this village, now she already knows about my power. That means her powers are much more than mine. And she's not even a mendicant. She seems to be a busy woman with her children and husband and, the in-laws and guests and everyone, and the cow and the dogs and everybody's asking, seeking her attention. And she's doing. She doesn't seem to be sitting in meditation on the mat and, under a tree or anything. She's busy doing all this. And he folds his hands and says, Mother, please tell me, what sadhana you are doing? What is the great spiritual practice that you are doing? And she says, I am simply doing my own duty as a householder. I'm just doing my duty. And therefore, please remember that even performing one's own duty, which is with these two things, one is, yes, that by considering that duty as as a way for you to worship and serve God. So when you're doing the duty, don't just simply consider that you are doing something for the family and my children and my husband and my wife. No, even by doing the same things, that's whatever you are doing, you are actually serving Paramatma. A. B. By doing this, I'm not expecting that it should give me some punya, it should take me to heaven, it should make my husband and wife like me or whatever. No, I'm doing this not for any other with any other motive, but just because this is my duty and this is the way I can serve, worship God. If this remains as your centripetal what do they call force in your life, understanding, then your karma will become karma yoga, and this will 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 take you a long way. Do not underestimate its power. Do not underestimate its power. Oh, this all looks simple, this does not look very mystical, you know. Don't get deluded. It is simple. It is simple, but does not mean that it is not profound. Does not mean that it is not effective. In fact, this is the most ultimately, even if one becomes an ascetic, lives like that, one will have to resort to karma yoga. Therefore, when you already have karma yoga as your means to give it up, thinking that that is what is called a spirituality, is nothing but foolishness, is nothing but foolishness. And therefore, Bhagavan has said such a person is mithyachari, he who gives up, but he who thus lives the life of karma yoga is indeed an intelligent person. Okay, so now such a person is being told over here. Did we chant this? Number 7. Kindly chant verse number 7. Yastvindriyani manasa, Yastvindriyani manasa, Niyamyaravatirjuna, Niyamyaravatirjuna, Karmendriyai karma yogam, Karmendriyai karma yogam, Asaktasya vishishyate, Asaktasya vishishyate, Yahatu, but he who. Now that but is drawing the contradiction to show you, highlighting the contradiction between the Dambhachari and the Karma Yogi. Okay, now here, Yasva Indriyani Manasa Niyamya, he who controls the Indriyas from inside, the one was controlling it from externally by not allowing it to move. No, let them move. But controlling them from inside, the Indriyani Manasa Niyamya, he performs his duties. Arabhate he Arjuna. What does he Arabhate? He begins, he performs. What? Karma Yogam. He performs Karma Yoga. How? Through the Karmendriyas, through the organs of actions. So he does not keep the organs of action as if, locked, but they are mastered. They are mastered, not controlled. They are refined. Karmendriyaihi karma yogam. And then when he is thus, in the life, in the middle of this life, performing his duties, one thing that remains about him is that is asaktaha. He does not get trapped anywhere. It does not get trapped anywhere. And therefore, such a person is distinct. Vishishya, Vishishtaha is distinct from the fellow who is deluded and was shown to us in the earlier shloka. Okay, so now here our commentary. Tu shabdaha purvasmad asya shreshtatva dyotanaya. Now here, yastu indriyani, those who are able to break the conjugations, you will discover these words. Yastu indriyani, yaha tu. It is not yastu means English yes and tu. Yaha means he who, and tu is but he who. Now that but is what do they call it? That conjugation is showing us the comparison. What is being compared? Purvasmad asya shreshtatva dyotanaya. And why is that comparison? So that now we are able to understand that karma yoga is indeed greater than the sannyas of the ignorant. Okay? Then the karma sannyasa taken by the ignorant. Karma yoga is indeed great. Purvasmadasya shreshtatvadyotanaya. Yastu anatmajnyo mumukshuhu vichakshanaha karma sannyasam akritva eva chakshuradi indriyani ragatveshadi doshanam gocharani na bhaveyu yatha tatha antarniyamya स्वयं असक्तः फलाभिसन्धिरहितः भूत्वा ईश्वरार्पणबुद्ध्या कर्मेन्द्रियैः वागादिभिः कर्मयोगं श्रौतं स्मार्तं वा रभते श्रद्धया चित्तशुद्ध्यै करोति स विशिष्यते. A long sentence, but it is very simple and easy. Yastu anatmashya, the one who is still ignorant. Who is ignorant? He who does not know Atma is Brahman. And knowing Atma is Brahman means it is knowing it as clearly as you presently know I am a man, I am a woman. So the meaning of I is Brahman. When this is your experience, that is called as end of ignorance. Till then, it may be your belief. Till then, it may be you may accept it, through faith, etc., conviction, etc. Yes to anatmashyaha, but that means that ignorance still in some way is prevalent. Yes to anatmashyaha, he who is ignorant. Yet do not forget, he is a mumukshu, wanting to be liberated. Vichakshanaha, which means intelligent one. Vichakshanaha, chaturaha, vichakshanaha, karma sannyasam akrutva eva. He has not given up the karma, but he performs the karma. Karma sannyasam akrutva eva. Without giving up the karma, what does he do? Chakshurani indriyani, ragatveshadi doshanam gocharani na bhaveyu. He acts in this world by protecting these indriyas. How is he protecting? By not making them the victims and slaves of ragatvesha, of likes and dislikes, of the vasanas. He does not, he takes care. So what does he do then? He simply tells the indriyas, do what you are supposed to do, whether you like it or not like it. If you start liking what you are supposed to do, you are lucky. You are lucky, punyavahan. But still, he does not allow them to become victimized by the ragatveshas. And thus, gocharani na bhaveyuhu yatha tatha antarniyamya. So where is the control now? Not externally, not. It is not there externally. The control is an internal control. Swayam asaktaha. And he himself, how is he? Asaktaha. Unattached, untracked. By what? What do you mean by that? Halavisaddhirahitaha. Now he is performing his duties not because this should bring him money, this should get him more pleasures, more name, more fame. No, nothing. He just keeps on doing. He keeps on walking. Bhutva sthaladhisandhirahito bhutva ishwararpana buddhya. And thus he has now brought in the factor of Ishvara, the presence of Ishvara in his life. God, this is my way of worshiping God. So now for him to worship, it is not going to a temple or anywhere. Whatever he is doing, that his action itself becomes his prayer. His every action becomes an act of worship. Ishwararpana buddhya karmendriyaihi vagadibhihi karma yogam shrautam smartam vaharate. Whether that karma is karma that is prescribed by the Veda or it is prescribed by the smritis which follow the Veda. Now, whatever that karma may be, shrautam va, smartam va, arabhate shraddhaya, with devotion. Chitta shuddhai karoti, and he does it for the sake of chitta shuddhi, purity, huh, of his mind. Karoti, sarvishishyate, he indeed, such a person is a distinct one. मोक्ष साधनीभूत कर्मयोग निष्ठत्वात् कर्मयोगी पूर्वोक्ता दाम्भिक कर्म संन्यासापेक्षया श्रेष्ठः. And therefore, such a person may be a householder, yet he is in a way more advanced. He is Shrestha, superior to the person who has given up the karma and forcefully is sitting outside but dwelling on the Vishayas from inside. He is way far more superior. And therefore, such a householder is also, such a life of a householder is also a spiritual life. Let that not be underestimated. Let that not be underestimated. So having said this much, furthermore, whatever everyone has to bring, we will see when we meet next. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaha Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakrito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Thank you, friends. Thank you all.